No, no, yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, 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 yeah, yeah, no.
Hey everyone,
Hey, this is Trey.
this is Ziggy, and this is the Trey and Ziggy show. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what that is.
Hot intro. That should be our intro music now.
So today we are going to talk about a few things. I guess the first thing we wanted to talk to you guys about is nostalgia.
Yes.
So Trey and I are both 90s babies. I was born in 92.
194. I'm Aquarius. If anybody out there wondering.
Nobody wants to know. Except for me.
Oh, for real? Because what I remember is that Aquarius and Sagittarius actually is a match. So,
Oh,
is that right?
yeah, I'm a Sagittarius. Okay, today we're going to talk about nostalgia. I feel like at first it was a big thing, especially like the past several years. Everybody was sampling 90s songs. Streaming services were bringing back 90s shows and put everything that the people on Twitter, especially Black Twitter, was talking about. Like, we need to see Sister Sister. We need to see this and that. The last several years, streaming services, they've been watching. And they've been putting all the shows that we love on streaming services.
Right.
Like, what are some shows that you watched when you were younger that you see now?
I definitely watched Sister Sister, and I watched That's So Raven, and I think right now That's So Raven, the new one, I think that actually
Raven's Home.
Yeah, Raven's Home. I think that one actually is. I feel like a lot of '90s shows could actually, if they was released, all of them was released right now in 2023, that they would still really compete because the writing was very phenomenal.
Right, writing was on point.
And I'm like, we touched in for to be the '90s and early 2000s. I think the writers back there, they were very more comedy, but they would still have to touch on very touchy subjects to the point that where they could actually do both. And I think nowadays it's more either it's serious or it's comedy. You can't really do both in it because a lot of people just be like, well, I want to just want to laugh. I just want to laugh. If I want serious, I'm more serious. Like, for example, I would say I went for animation. They talk about real life. They talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Right? That was comedy. They also touched on very serious situations, like in the Black community, but not even just the Black community. I'm talking about like in another tax bracket, like those people problems. Back then, they touched on it, but it was also comedy. Now it's just strictly, and I understand it. Like some people don't want all that, comedic relief. They want all this seriousness, and I understand that. And it's like, but the '90s shows, I don't know. They could do both and get their message across. And sometimes those episodes would end like, no, this episode was a message. Like, they had the disclaimers at the end. You remember that back in the day? They have the whole cast at the end, like staring at the camera to make the whole disclaimer. You remember that? Oh man.
Wow. And now like shows like so Bel-Air is the spin-off or the remake, the dramatization of the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes. And that was actually before the 90s. I think it started like in the 80s.
Well, everything, yeah. I feel like even the stuff that's premiered in the 90s, it was created like two, seasons, like the pilot and the next season, before they even thought about premiering it. So, yeah, a lot of this stuff is way before its time.
Right, but that's how you know it's a classic when, like my parents was like, man, I was watching that when I was in high school. And then their kids, we was in there watching it. My dad was like, I can't believe y'all are watching this. It's like, it's a good show. Like, it's, it's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's great.
Like for me, like,
Timeless. That's how you know.
like for me, like I'm just now, I just completed my first year of being a teacher, and we're now just watching Steve Harvey show, right? Again, because when I first watched it, I was younger. I didn't know exactly what the premise was. I just knew he was a teacher, and he just dealt with day to day life of being a teacher. But I didn't know exactly what the message was pushing
Right.
until you get an adult and you're like, man. They talk about kids in Chicago, and now knowing exactly all the stuff that's going on, not just in Chicago, all over the world. Like being a teacher at that time in the 90s, and that stuff, you just, that type of writing nowadays, it's more complex, but it's not as where it's comedy here. Like you might have a joke here and there, but I'm talking about comic relief. Like after each scene, now they don't really have that. It's either dramatic drama, or it's comedy, or it's action, a show. But to have all that in one, I think that would be. And I feel like at the same time, like we didn't have as many resources as other TV shows and channels had, to where we had to actually put everything together in one package for us to reach a mass audience.
Right.
Right. And we had we had legends writing all these shows. Like
I know,
and being in the shows too.
You know what? And it's so that triggered something for me, because it was like I was at work one day and my coworker, I was telling her, I forgot what it was, but I was like, oh, Robert Townsend's in this. And she was like, oh, who's that? I was just like, oh my gosh, she doesn't know who that is. But I forgot that back then, it's like Black people created these spaces and these shows because we weren't being seen on TV like that.
Right.
There were people, executives, people or legendary actors in the Black community that decided to be on the production side of things and create the stories that haven't been told. And I feel like people like him, there's so many, just like Sheryl Lee Ralph, who plays in Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like white people. Well, so I'm not gonna say all of them, but some white people, a lot of white people are not gonna know who she is. And you see that happen. Like, it was just so many years. She's been on Broadway. Like, she was in the original Dreamgirls on Broadway. Like, there were so many other things she was in, and she's a household name to us.
To us, yeah.
But it's like it took her years. It took years because Black people have to be in position to tell these stories and to show off that talent that we've been knowing about. Yeah. But it's like, it took people to be in those spaces to make those stories and to be able to be in that position to, show that, our stories are our stories, but it's also relatable. It's also relatable to the human experience. So it's like, it's just, Quinta Brunson, great writing.
I feel like as you pointed out, you said some white people don't know like a lot of famous Black artists as an actor, actress, rappers, R&B artists. But I feel like Black people are the same thing with a lot of white people.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Like you can tell me any white actor. You got to tell me what role did they play. Like, for example, me, I'm an Iron Man type of guy, right? So I know who Robert Downey Jr. is, but also Robert Downey Jr. also played in, what's that movie with Tropical Thunder. So he's known in the
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, yeah. So like he's known, but like if I didn't know Robert Downey Jr. like that, you would have to be like, oh Oh, Iron Man. Oh, why you say that? It's Iron Man. I don't know no Robert Downey Jr. I feel like that's how it is too. So I feel like uh, to us, she's a household name, but for other, demographic is a different story.
Right.
But I think you have to be on a different type of level. Like for example, another '90s situation, the Rush Hour.
Yeah.
That's like a generational movie. Like that's that whole saga. Like because they had like what the trilogy. Did they have like a Rush Hour 3 or Rush Hour?
Man, I don't even know.
I know. I know we watched all of them at least once. You had to, because like that was so groundbreaking at the time, and I didn't even know that. Like, with what's his name, Chris Tucker, very generational like type of comedian.
And you know what?
And Jackie Chan as well when it comes to his culture as well, right?
Yeah.
And for them to actually come together, like they're not talking about each other's culture, like downplaying it. They just two brothers from different cultures, and they have to work together to do something to complete their goal. But while they doing all that, they going against. They learning about each other, and like they're so funny, they're so professional to the point that like I'm pretty sure they had all types of like freeway to like hey, just be yourselves, right? Here's the line, here's the script, but do what you have to do to make this film. And they made that film them, and it's more them in the film than like the character that the writer or
right
producer wanted. Like they created those characters, and that movie is so monumental in a lot of 90s kids' life because it teaches diversity. It teaches how we have similarities, but also we have differences.
Yeah.
But as society, we want to be like, well, we not like them. We're not like the Chinese or we're not like the Latin community. But in actuality, we have so many things in common. And that's what the 90s was trying to teach us.
Yeah.
All right? And they trying to show us in these TV shows. They was popping out TV shows left and right when it comes to like everyday life people, not like these superstars or these crazy people. I'm talking about everyday life people that bus boys, people was just raiders or whatever. That was the whole scheme. They wasn't trying to paint these pictures of like everybody that's always rich or always famous or whatever. But that's what I liked about the 90s. I want to say things were simple because they also did have complex stories back then. But I'm just saying like they didn't really need a major storyline to go off of a TV show. They could create so many things off of something super basic, as in like a person that an artist that's actually trying to make it in life.
Yeah.
That's really, and then these actors and the actresses we had they was hungry too at the time in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hungry.
Hungry.
Like to make it, you didn't have like social media like that we have it now.
I know. Imagine it was all about you had to be at those parties. You had to go to dinners. You had to network, socialize offline.
I love what the social media has done now for the new artists out there.
It's leveled the playing fields.
It made people that really didn't have a genuine chance in life,
like access.
Right, you can be seen, but compared to the 90s, real talent made it. It was a rare chance that you had somebody that was privileged to still make it in the industry back in the day. So,
you know how, well, I feel like also, I remember when I was at U of H, when I was in college, in undergrad, and there would be, the biggest thing, because I was coming from going to high school in Austin to move to Houston, and at U of H, there were a lot of people from Dallas
Yeah.
and Houston,
Yeah.
other places too, but it was like distinct styles. And saw people who had like, they had the Mohawk styles with their hair. Dallas people, for some reason, they love that rat tail.
Yeah, rat tail.
I do not understand that at all.
Shout out to you. If you from Dallas, shout out to you, but we just don't understand that. I'm definitely from Houston, born and
I
raised.
hope people cut down on that because it has some weird ones. It's some really weird
what
ones.
do you think? You think some people can pull it off? Or
Yeah, I do. Just like the what is it now? With party on top, business in the back type of. What is it called? A mullet.
The mullet.
The mullet,
yeah.
the mullet is out now.
It's hot now?
Yeah, the mullet is
I
hot
have
now.
one student at my whole school that have a mullet.
And well, if
I
you
don't even
look
think
at,
everybody know it's the mullet.
there's different like celebrities or like just in fashion, but it's like
I think
there's a lot of people who do like different versions of the mullet. But I feel like some people can pull it off.
Yeah.
But I don't really get it.
Yeah, that's because you locked up.
I am, but my locks are also like layered because they're not the same. Like,
yeah, you can't do a mullet with it.
I can't, but
you can't do a lot of things, but
they're pretty voluminous looking when I curl it. It is like yes, but I remember the big thing was like thrifting, and because we was broke.
I think thrifting is still a thing though. Like,
yeah,
it's very, very
but I feel like where I saw this video where it's kind of like it's not as popular. They've been having to throw things out because people have been donating clothes that are like fast fashion, and it'll be like torn stuff. It won't be like the high quality stuff from like previous generations. Where you can repurpose it and style it differently.
But I feel like that's also depends on where you go for the quality of the material that you're looking for. Like, for example, like you're not gonna go for, because I think a lot of people view thrifting as looking for high quality material at a discounted price. And for the most part, that's what you think. Like, well, I might get this vintage graphic shirt or vintage jersey, but it's like you can. But where are you looking at this stuff for? Are you looking at it at Goodwill? Because Goodwill, 9 out of 10, they just gonna give you whatever comes through the door that's still able. But some of these smaller shops,
like Buffalo Exchange, I wonder if they're still
they probably have better material, better outfits that to pick for, but it's gonna be costly.
Yeah, like Plato's Closet, that's one where you could go and donate your clothes and they'll give you some money for it if they can use it. But they choose items that are like I believe they choose items that are higher quality and like kind of newer. So if you like say if you try to give them like a designer bag, like I got turned down. There was this one bag, the Dolce & Gabbana bag that I had, and it was given to me. I mean, a lot of the name brand bags were just like given to me or something. But
give it to you by who?
It's just like
friends, family.
It's mainly family, like my dad, or like he'll be like, "Oh, I had a friend who gave away a purse," or like, like.
What type of bags? What type of bags are you like?
There was Dolce & Gabbana, Michael Kors. My dad bought me a Michael Kors bag, like a newer one, that brown one, the suede one.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. I don't wear it a lot because I don't want to get rained on.
That's why I was about to bring that up. I was like, you really don't use your purse, do you? Just like the stories of the way. Yeah, you be.
But when I want to step out, I got a cute purse.
Did you even wear did you even have a purse when the last time we went out? Or did
Yes,
you-
it was my seashell purse
Oh.
that I got. Okay, for my Little Mermaid outfit, which I still have. We still haven't got to see Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
That's another nostalgic thing because
Oh yeah.
they remade the Little Mermaid into live action. With all the controversy because Ariel's black.
Controversy because they don't have their own agenda they want to push. That's why it's a controversy.
Yeah.
If it was on their own
Right.
agenda, then it's
I just know Halle Bailey's so
mythical-
beautiful. I just know she bodied that role, and I just can't wait to see it and wear my mermaid leggings.
Shout out if you already seen it. Shout out if you support. Gotta support.
So another nostalgic thing, moving away from movies. I wanted to talk a little bit about technology and the evolution. So since we were little kids,
Oh yeah.
because I feel like millennials, we've experienced a lot from social media, the internet, everything evolving, and that's the advancement in technology. That's the reason why, like, James Cameron had to wait so long to produce the second Avatar movie like he wanted to,
Right.
because technology had to keep up with his vision. Even with the first one, he had to wait for technology to advance.
Right.
So, what are some things that you remember about like technology as a kid that you're like so happy now that it's like, ooh, I'm glad it's not like that anymore?
All right. So I think one of the things, especially when becoming a 90s kid, and like, cause I'm 94, and I'm on the bridge of like being a millennial, and then like a what, Gen Z?
Yeah, you're the last year before Gen
Yeah.
Z begins.
So what happened is that we all had Skype and we had Ubu, but what happens is that
Ubu.
right,
Ubu
but
driver.
you Uber, yeah. We had all these video chat devices services back then, but you needed a whole like laptop, or you needed a video cam and all that stuff, and then on top of that, the other individual needed the same thing. Well, now technology is where not only that, if you have a smartphone, you pretty much have all of that in one
At your fingertips.
at your fingertip, and on top of that, Wi-Fi is so easy. It's so easily to
Wi-Fi
access.
for those who
The
don't get the
Wi-Fi,
joke.
Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi. It's so easy. It's so convenient. The price for it is so convenient to the point that anybody can get it that has a decent, occupation. So now, like I said, I was telling my students this at my job. I was like, y'all can, once y'all done with school, was like 5th grade or 8th grade, or that last grade before you move on to the next, level, y'all can easily still FaceTime each other and like check in with each other.
They don't know what dial-up is and how you had to not be on the phone when your mama needs to be on the internet, or like
they don't know the fact that if you even go to a whole other state, you could even possibly call them, because that would raise your bill up.
the minutes, the prepaid minutes,
that would raise it up a lot. And I
the
think
long distance calling.
all the technology advances, well, of course, AI, that's crazy. How they created AI and how it can easily help you with any like lesson that you need to complete, or any professional question you have to ask.
I'm gonna come back to that, the AI situation.
The AI.
But
how do you feel like technology has impacted you?
I think the biggest thing for me, because growing up, movies were just such a big thing in my household. Like, my dad loves movies. That's like his escape, to go to movies. Like, he'll go by himself, and he has like one of those subscriptions on the apps, so where he pays monthly, so he can get like a free ticket a month and like discounted things, like free snacks and stuff. So I feel like,
Ooh, yeah.
and I feel like maybe it's like hereditary because I remember my grandmother, his mom, when we would go visit her when she lived in Memphis, she had a whole bunch of VHS tapes, and it would be like movies that were like blockbuster hits. Like she had all the movies,
Right.
and we would like be watching Independence Day all the time when we went over there or something.
Independence Day.
Or when we would go
Sorry
to
about Auntie House.
when we go to Lake Charles, you've been to cousin Jackie's house, but
Yeah.
they had like VHS tapes and like all the movies too. It would be like a lot of action because they used to watch like a lot of stuff like that. And that's where I watched Phone Booth for the first time.
Oh my God, that movie. I was watching that because we just had cable. That mug came on every night,
Oh my gosh.
and we just
Like,
caught it.
What
for
it was
some
like on
reason.
USA or something? Right? USA was like
USA
something like
had
that.
it, but like I don't know which one it was in Showtime or whatever HBO. They had it too, and they will show it
Yeah.
almost at the same time.
Yep. So I think the thing I appreciate about technology, and the thing you don't have to worry about so much is like the cost of like when we used to go to Blockbuster and stuff and like rent movies,
Yeah,
and we got to see it kind of evolve with like Redbox and Netflix where you can rent DVDs, from that to streaming services, and now you have blockbuster movies. Like if you can't afford to go to the theater,
yeah,
you don't have to be like, and in a way it's kind of like taken away from that culture, like, oh, we gotta go see the new Twilight movie or the new like
Yeah.
the new everything, we gotta go to opening weekend, or we gotta go so we can go talk about it in school. Like it's kind of taken away from that, but at the same time it's like
but
not, and now there's like more shows and more movies on streaming.
you talk about how technology has advanced, right? And I
Yeah,
think to the point that where technology has advanced, to the point that where you can actually cipher like what movies you really want to go see at the movies, right?
right. It's
We already know in
place.
Houston that a lot of AMCs are closing down in general. So a lot of the movie theaters are actually only open on the outskirts areas, suburban areas.
right.
And also we know why they're still, up and running. But I think what happens is that in human households, common households, you can easily spend probably like, I would say 125, and you can have a sound system, legitimate sound system in your house. And if you get you a little projector, you're set for your movie night now. That's what all the
Right.
movie theater is now, projector and sound system. Now, yeah, you want to go to some of these movie theaters to enjoy that moment where that your favorite hero or your favorite character, you can enjoy that with other people, like 60, 70, 80 other people in the room with you. However, technology has possibly advanced to the point that where it can keep you safe. And we know in the time of era we play we're living in right now, safety is number one priority. And to be in a populated area, you more of a chance of something happening to you.
Right.
I think it gives people a chance to, well, we're gonna watch these movies when they come out on the streaming service, and instead of going every Friday to the movie theater, well, we're gonna go to this one Friday, this one month during summer, just to see this XYZ movie. I think it is taking away from that little what you call it,
That culture.
that culture. But what happens is that the advancement of technology gives us the option to still be at home and safe in our own environment.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I know with these mass shootings, I feel like when I go to a movie theater, I do get like higher anxiety, even though I want to go support certain films, especially if it's like a black lead in the film.
Right.
I want to go put my dollars there.
Yeah.
But I do get anxiety because it's like, I think about when people went to go see the Batman opening premiere like years ago,
Right.
and that gunman went up in there like stuff like
Right.
that, I'll be like, ugh. Or if the movie theater is attached to the mall, I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's like,
Easy access.
yeah. So it's like, it's stuff like that that makes it an easier decision to be like, oh, I can wait till this comes out, or I'm gonna just watch these shows at home.
Exactly.
You know, and then you can control your environment.
You control your environment. Now, are you 100% safe at home? No, but are you safer than going out to a populated area? Yes. And
Yeah.
I would rather choose that. And a lot of these, it's harder to, like, if you're a parent, I need you to watch 2, 3 children. Like, it's hard just to be asking people to watch them. Why not just wait till it comes out on the streaming services? Literally 2, 3 weeks ago, Ant-Man Watch just came out. And then on streaming service. And not
yeah.
Ant-Man's Watch, but Ant-Man in the Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Yeah.
Ant-Man, yeah, something like that.
Like, literally, like,
It's a long title.
it literally came out 2 weeks after it came out in the movie theater. I enjoyed it
Yeah.
at home. One of those. It's not one of those pictures that I need to go see out at, at the movie theater. Now, some people love a movie theater. That's fine. Have fun. Do what you gotta do. But for the other people that I don't know, that's I don't know, antisocial and don't like to go out until they have to, I feel y'all too. And I'm with y'all, because man, to be out there.
I want to switch it up. So we're millennials, right? And now Gen Z is having I feel like Gen Z is leading a lot of the trends in social media and fashion.
Yeah.
Even
oh yeah, this is a good topic.
I feel like it's a lot of stuff people will be imitating Missy Elliott videos in their music videos now, or all the early 2000s stuff. Or if you go to a club, they'll have Y2K, a club that just plays Y2K music.
Yeah.
Or it's stuff like that. How does that make you feel? Because it's that was our childhood. That was us growing up. I graduated high school 2010. You graduated 2012. So all before then, we had the snap music.
I say,
leave it and rock with it.
I saw a video on TikTok was
Big
was running. I'm wondering now why my knees hurt every time I walk up and down some stairs, and then it's a video from 2010 from you doing that walking out, I walking out.
You're a jerk.
All that.
Jerky boy. People was doing the pin drops. I already knew my knees wasn't about that life. I was not.
Honestly, but it's so crazy.
I was scared to hit the floor.
Was it? What's the saying? Imitation is flattery.
Yeah.
Like that. I think what happens is that in music, the music is it's always gonna repeat. They say nothing new under the sun. The songs that we probably was bopping to when we was younger was sampled from a song from 1970.
Right.
So I feel like if we ever really were to say an era was the best and best possible, I would say the 90s, because I think a lot of artists could actually venture off and do their own things, because a lot of people started dropping a lot of their own stuff around late 90s, early 2000s. They wanted to make their own sound and make their own presence known. Not what the industry wanted them to make. So I feel like
I kind of feel like
the new age people, new age kids listening to our music and loving that, I feel like that the people are sampling from, I feel like that's also drawn from our generation, because our generation also sampled a lot of stuff before them too.
I see what you're saying, and it's so weird because I'll hear I think it was Ella Mai sampled a Beyonce song, Me, Myself, and I, and I was like, whoa, and stuff like that. I'll be like, y'all sampling Usher, or they still out here doing stuff, which throws me, because I'm like, they still getting bigger and bigger with their careers.
Yeah,
they ain't washed up.
Who?
like Beyonce and Usher put their music in samples.
I
Like
say
these new artists, I'm like, whoa, it throws me.
well, I say this. And I said this
Mariah
before.
Carey.
Yeah, but I say, well, I heard this off of a YouTube video. I forgot who said this, but they say, I think it was actually DJ Academics. It's funny. He said you start your career how you, well, you end your career how you start your career. And if you start your career hardworking, right, you're not cutting corners. You actually feel building a foundation.
The longevity.
That's how your career is going to end. If you start your career off of a wave, or you got caught, you got hot because you was catching the trend or whatever, that's exactly how your career is going to end. I mean, that's what the J. Cole track talking about. Oh boy, exactly what happened.
1985.
Yeah, 1985.
Ooh.
You know, and a lot of people was like, man, how did he depict like how his career is? It's pretty much how he starts and how you end. And I feel like that's
It's like a tale as old as time. Like it's not like he was dissing him. He was like, these are the facts.
Right.
This is what's gonna happen.
Right, yeah, these are the numbers. This is exactly how it usually play out. This is that.
I would say it's wisdom. So it's like, I know we sat down and had a conversation about it.
Right. But
it's like he's spitting wisdom based off of the knowledge that he knows, things that have happened.
And you know what's so crazy? Now that we're talking about this, what happened to Lil Pump and what's his name? Lil Durk. That's crazy. Lil Pump and Lil Durk. Lil Pump and Lil Durk literally did the same thing. One did it right, and one did it too late. How can I say it? He still did it right, but he did it too late. Lil Pump did it too late. Lil Durk did it right. Have you seen the interview with Lil Durk and the governor of Chicago?
No.
So he sat down with the governor. I think he's the governor or mayor. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he sat down with the mayor or governor, and they had like a talk about how, you know, the crime in Chicago and how they'll possibly come around. Now, remind you, this is also at the time where he also did the song with J. Cole. He's rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually practicing what he's trying to preach in his songs, like, you know, being a voice of the people.
Right.
And I actually like that. Like, I actually talked to one person, he was saying, like, a lot of these rappers come out talking about all this bad stuff, then they change after they make all the millions. But I was like, a lot of these rappers are just talking about their situations at the time. Then they have to, and then they're so young, they coming out young, and they just preaching what they practicing, you know,
right,
until they actually see a better way of life.
Mm-hmm.
So they hit that turn. And what's wrong with them hitting that turn? What's wrong with them making that change in their life and being better and trying to, oh yeah, it's an image thing. Yeah, it's an image thing. And if they're one of the people that a high influence on these youth, to circle around back to these kids viewing these artists, I feel like that's a perfect way to go by it first. Consulting with a veteran, right, from 80s about how this stuff already goes, and then play off of that and build your own empire. J. Cole has built an empire, and people really don't even realize it is a whole empire because
Dreamville.
He doesn't even dress, you know, like Gucci down.
And you know, and he's a very humble person.
Very humble person. He's willing to work with a lot of people that.
Yeah, and he values mentorship.
Very.
And I feel like there's a lot of things, like even I forgot what that interview was that we were watching when when I think it was one of his homeboys was talking about, like, you know, how basically giving him his praise
Oh yeah.
On how much he appreciates
Yeah.
him, like the things that people don't know about that he does behind the scenes, and like J. Cole was kind of like, I felt he was blushing, but he was just like, nah, that's not.
Yeah.
He's like, my bad. He don't like when you like talk about like
You know.
but it's just like I feel like that's for a long time. I feel like that's something that was like missing, that kind of humility in hip hop specifically. Maybe the whole entertainment business, but I feel like there are people in the business like that. But there's a lot of for decades it was like gatekeeping going on. It was like, no, you have to do it this way. That's why a lot of female artists probably didn't make it as big as they should have, because it's like it was also very sexist. It was like a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's like Ari Lennox is on Dreamville. She has a great mentor in him.
Yeah.
And I feel like their whole crew has like their own identities and stuff. And it's like when you have somebody that can back you and who loves you for you and sees your talent, your pure talent, and what you can achieve, and doesn't try to stomp on that and be like, oh, that's not what, that's not the image that we have here. That's not the image, like when you have somebody that can let you do you, like you can thrive and be better. And it's like, I feel like it's not about, oh, I don't want to sign with these record labels, whatever. It's like now people are, and I feel like it comes from artists who have gone through that, starting their own labels and stuff, and actually not falling into that trap of like, that cycle.
Yeah.
So it's like they're able to make those changes, and it's like, there's a lot more independent artists with the improvement of technology and social media and all that.
Right.
Who can be independent, like
right.
Chance the Rapper, who was so innovative when he came out and doing what he had those packages, or like he was making money off the merch and not the music. What was that?
He was making money off the merch, and also he was.
There's so many artists with those merch bundles.
I say this though, when it comes to that, I'll say that with women being rappers or singers, I feel like the industry doesn't really promote that. Like, you really have to find those artists unless they fit their image. And I say that because, yeah, we have social media and they can upload on YouTube or whatever services, but what happens is that they can just do that, but you also have to find them, unless Apple Music or Spotify or these different platforms actually put them out there on these playlists or such and such.
Right.
Like, especially
Rap-ish, that show on HBO Max, that was kind of like that. This girl, the one who was rapping, she knew somebody who worked at Spotify.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was gatekeeping. She was like, she's like, oh yeah, I'll have to talk to them. She was trying to get on like a new release playlist or something.
Mm-hmm.
But she wanted her friend to pitch their song, and she was on her just being shady. So on Rap-ish, that was a show created by Issa Rae, HBO Max. The girl that she knew, she was gatekeeping, and she knew a person that worked at Spotify. And I feel like there was like kind of she must have been like some kind of A&R rep or something, scoping talent to put on the playlist for like the hottest rap women or like the new releases or something. And it wasn't until their stuff was getting played like everywhere, like social media and stuff,
mm-hmm.
and somebody else brought it up in the room, where she was like, oh yeah, I know her, that's my girl, yeah, it's fire. But she told her she didn't like the song initially or something.
Yeah.
She was basically dissing her.
Yeah.
And then she heard it, but I feel like at that point her friend was like, well, her acquaintance, I feel like she was like, like, nah. So now somebody else said I'm hot, and then you think I'm hot.
Right.
But you was like, you wasn't trying to put me on before.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to be that hard. They had to go through so much to even get their song heard.
Right. Yeah.
So
I feel like, well, and from a perspective as viewing a male artist, I think rap or R&B or whatever, I think it's easier to promote all these different if they also fit, their what's the word I'm looking for? If they fit their I don't want to say description, but they fit their persona. Like,
yeah,
if that rapper or that singer,
what they're trying to market.
What they market, and if, like, say for example, if they don't agree with what they're talking about, they can easily just start. They pull all the extraness off of it, and so the promotion of their new album, their new project, it can just be like off the radar, and it will be hard. It's just, I think it's harder for women in general to be promoted, because women have to, especially black women, they have to fit a specific way or look. Because when I'm looking for anything like Afrobeats or any R&B or anything, like, I have to actually dig for that type of stuff. It's so easy to find like a Lil Pump, Lil Baby, or Lil Durk anywhere, any playlist. It's easy to find a Drake, or it's easy to find a Meek Mill anywhere. It's hard to find a, for example, it's hard to find a Tibbs. It's hard to find No Name.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those type of artists out there that's actually putting out heat, right?
And I don't know how much you listen to Coco Jones.
Yeah, I played Coco Jones. Yeah.
So she has an interesting story. She's been entertained since she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was on Disney, like Disney movies, and I don't know if she was on Disney shows. I don't think I was watching her like that. But she had like a lot of YouTube covers. She was one of the YouTube cover girlies. And even like her father used to be an NFL player.
Yeah.
So, like, she has some kind of connections, but music industry is like different.
Mm-hmm.
So, entertainment industry, period. But I feel like in the way that people have the streaming series now, so like she was on Bel Air, she plays Hillary on Bel Air.
Okay.
And
Coco Jones?
Yeah. So,
what?
Yep. And so it's kind of full circle.
Okay.
Because I feel like the way they do movies now with, series, I'm going to say series, like show series and stuff. If they have, like a bomb soundtrack, they'll create a playlist for it. Now, not every show, not every movie does that, but I feel like they definitely should, because people are going to be using their Shazam or whatever, trying to figure out what song it is. Whatever they be using.
I use Snapchat still, so.
But isn't Shazam inside Snapchat? That's like it's like a plugin, it's like an app in an app. Yeah. But yeah, they have a whole. The Jamie Foxx had a show, but anyways. But I feel like that also helps market. So when you're acting, you actually got music, your stuff gonna be like on the soundtrack, or like.
I thought that's how all shows used to be like. Like, for example, like I remember. But
it was like, if it was like a TV show, it wasn't always gonna. Well, they used to sell CDs or something.
No. Listen. I remember a show. I think it was Half and Half, right? The one with I thought they would sing those songs, right? But like, think of 101. Wasn't Old Girl singing that song?
Tyler Pratt?
Yeah.
No.
Wasn't
don't
a lot
think
of
so.
artists
Was
back
it?
in like the 90s was singing their own theme songs?
Oh.
Like Raven, was she singing her own?
Yeah, she definitely was. But she was singing since she was a kid.
Yeah, I'm like, but, like think about it, like the 90s, like we were talking about before, like a lot of the artists before was singing their own theme songs, or they got like some voice singers to like mimic them, because they were so talented back in their day, like to the point that where, I mean, the people that was in the 90s is still making music today, but they writing and not actually performing or whatever and whatnot.
I was trying to figure out like who sang the song.
Yeah.
It says 101. Somebody named Jonathan Wolf. But you know, okay, so this singer Shalea or Shalay, I don't remember how to say that, but she co-wrote and performed the All of Us song. All of Us. But the producers, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, produced that, and those are Janet Jackson's producers and so many other
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Yes, Jamie Foxx. Yeah, man, the 90s, 2000s they had a theme songs on what?
Yeah,
bring back the great theme songs.
I think
like these shows are missing like great theme songs.
I feel like the shows now, I think they're very more like dramatic, and they're not like lighthearted how it was before.
Yeah, true.
And
I feel like
I get it too, because
that's
like
the era of sitcoms.
I feel like nowadays people are more dark when it comes to more dark to when it comes to.
I do love a good drama.
Me personally, I'm more like, it is like, what happens is that if you're really not into the dark stuff, or you like heart-hurting stuff or comedy, you can go straight to YouTube or watch anything on any other streaming services. But the stuff that's popping out the oven now is dramas. And I can't watch a drama because because it's also real life. So I can see this actually happen. Like, I still think of like TV shows from back in the day where I noticed, like, yeah, that could really be real, like really happening in real life, and you just hold on to that stuff, and it's just like why am I holding on to something that's not actually my life? Like, I ain't live that, but I know that it could be actually happening, not only in somebody else's household, somebody that I probably even know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have to be always rich to deal with these rich people problems, or you also don't have to be always poor to deal with these poor people problems. And it's just so like, and some of the stuff is dramatic just for TV or movie, but we know deep down the root of it, all the stuff still exists.
Right.
To this day. And that's why I don't like to watch drama. So, but I like to also I like to watch thrillers. Thrillers are nice. I love thrillers. Suspense be killing me, but it's whatever.
But I feel like I'm probably the biggest drama person. Like, since I was younger.
We can tell.
Yes. But, well, that's going to be the episode for today.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a great trip down memory lane.
Definitely.
I'm gonna name it Nostalgia Brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely, because
I feel like there's more we could talk about later on.
Yeah.
Especially with technology. It never came back to the AI situation, but I feel like that
could be a whole episode.
That could be a whole episode.
A whole half an episode.
I do have a lot of things I want to talk about.
Yeah, because I think AI could definitely develop.
How it's impacting my industry as a communications person.
And me as a teacher.
Yes.
It definitely impacts me.
Oh my gosh. We got to talk about that. All right. But
we're signing off.
I'm Ziggy.
I'm King Trey.
And hope y'all tune in next time. Thanks.